Coming up, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team cures a sister-brother pair from a viral skin infection. We meet Edison Lalimarmo to see how the Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter helped him realize his dream. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen. Liao. Thank you for joining us. We kick off the show in Kathmandu, Nepal, where recently Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team returned to the Sri Mangaldevi boarding school to check on its students. During the visit, the team not only taught children how to do paper crafts, but also provided medical treatment for a sister-brother pair who suffered from a viral infection of the skin. Let's take a look. As the Sri Mangaldevi boarding school in Kathmandu sustained serious damage during the earthquake, currently students can only play outdoors. On their last visit, members at Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team drew pictures with students. This time, the team has returned with color paper. Letting their imaginations run wild, the children transform pieces of color paper into objects with only their hands. Besides bringing joy to children, the team is also here to treat a viral infection.
I'll be using a needle to get rid of the molluscum contagiosum on her skin. If it still hurts, I'll wait until the anesthetic kicks in.
This is 5-year-old DaAi Sengmo, who has clusters of molluscum contagiosum on her neck, while her younger brother has a similar infection on his body. An hour later, Dr. Wang Sri Annie and her husband begin the treatment. Dr. Wang sings softly to the little girl to ease her anxious heart. Throughout the treatment, DaAi Sengmo bravely endures the pain because she knows Dr. Wang is here to help. However, Sengmo still sheds some tears as the pain is too much to bear. After the treatment is completed, Dr. Wang kindly asks a school teacher to look after the young girl.
We apply it 2 times a day, but you have to wash your hand first. Okay?
Holding the little girl close, Dr. Wang softly says, "I wish you good health." Tzu Chi's 5th disaster relief and medical team recently arrived in Nepal, and on May 21st, the team made of volunteers from 8 different countries came together to carry out large-scale home visitations to gain a better understanding of quake survivors' needs.
Tzu Chi's 5th disaster relief and medical team breaks into 3 teams to have a quick meeting before setting out for the home visitations. The first team arrives at the tent communities and starts from tent number 1.
We want to gather the following information today. How many members are there in each family? Are they all staying together in a tent community, or are there others who are taking up shelter elsewhere? The monsoon season is coming up, so we hope to give them a safer and more stable shelter before then. Also, we want to provide them with enough supplies to get through these pressing times.
Through translating, local volunteers have come to know Tzu Chi better.
I would like to help Tzu Chi Foundation as well as to help these peoples of Nepalese peoples also.
Because they are helping us like many things, like giving tents, so I want to help the Tzu Chi Foundation.
Only local residents will be able to continue the work that we are doing here, so we are showing them how to carry out these tasks while also passing on Tzu Chi's humanitarianism. Only by doing so can these seeds take root and flourish locally.
Bringing hope and love to those who have been caught up in this tragedy, Tzu Chi volunteers are also inspiring goodness in the residents' hearts, which is sure to flourish in the days to come.
Namaste.
Namaste. Upon seeing the Tzu Chi volunteers, residents' faces light up with warm smiles. These blue and white clad volunteers come from all across the globe, including Taiwan, the United States, Indonesia, China, Singapore, Philippines, and Nepal. Zhang Shoujun, who speaks fluent English, says she has no trouble communicating with the locals.
How are you? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Arriving at one of the temporary shelters, volunteers read storybooks to settle the children's hearts. Next, volunteers arrived at an alley behind the health center and discovered that where houses once stood, there are now just piles of rubble. Residents have been living in tents alongside the road, which leak every time it rains.
No extra. We have only plastic.
Only plastic.
As a temporary solution, volunteers brought brand new tarpaulin covers. Also in desperate need of tarp covers are the 64 people camped in this tent area. As their gas stoves were buried beneath the rubble, residents built their own fire pit out of bricks and boiled potatoes to keep their hunger at bay.
Which place?
This place and empty and
Empty here.
No one can say for certain whether residents will be able to pick up the pieces and rebuild their lives within the next year. But at least for now, Tzu Chi Volunteers' care has brought them warmth and assurance to face the trials ahead.
Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers revisited two of the villages that Tzu Chi Foundation built in the aftermath of the flooding of 1993 in Nepal. In both villages, though the homes have withstood the quakes, volunteers find that many of the villagers are still impoverished. Let's see how some of the villagers have tried to make their situation better.
Located near the border of Nepal and India, the 600 homes of the Santapur Tzu Chi village in Ratahat were built on love. Each DaAi home is 36 square meters large. However, with the change of times, some of the houses have changed. Some villagers expanded their property or even added an additional level. Actually, those who can afford to remodel their home have all worked overseas, as the economy here is poor.
There aren't many opportunities to get a job here. I couldn't provide meals for my family. Getting a good education is hard too, because there is no money. Most of the people here are impoverished.
Sanjeev has installed a water pump in his yard. He can do so because he worked in Malaysia for 7 years.
If you save money when working overseas, upon returning to Nepal, there are no financial worries.
Another villager, Sonali, is fluent in English because she went to school in Kathmandu. After the quake, her family returned to be with her grandparents.
Good. My study is very good. I began first in my class. Later with index finger guiding them through the opportunity.
As poverty and sickness goes hand in hand, residents anxiously crowd the free clinic while Tzu Chi doctors work as quickly as they can. Looking to break free from the cycle of poverty, Sonali has a dream.
My dream is to be a good doctor to help poor people.
Located also in Ratahat, Parai Tzu Chi village is surrounded by fields of green. What's the fun in piling up bricks? When a child is without toys to play with, brick piling is a fun option. Seeing the Tzu Chi volunteers, a 75-year-old Mahu Sahari walks up to greet them. Taking a stroll through the village, volunteers assess the damage the recent quakes may have caused. In the wake of the strong tremors that shook Nepal, villagers here are scared to sleep indoors. Returning to this land 20 years later, Tzu Chi volunteers still hope to light up these forgotten corners with their loving care.
Although nearly a month has passed since Nepal was rocked by strong quakes, Tzu Chi volunteers across the globe have continued to canvass donations on behalf of quake victims. In our next report, we go to Malaysia and Thailand to see how local Tzu Chi volunteers have inspired people from different race and faiths to contribute their love. Let's take a look. Although 4 years have passed since the floods, many residents still remember the physical and emotional support they received from Tzu Chi. Upon learning that Tzu Chi volunteers are canvassing donations on behalf of quake survivors in Nepal, patients at the Ban Prayu Hospital in Bangkok happily donate their love.
We are volunteers from the Tzu Chi Foundation. We want to encourage all of you to donate your love to help the less fortunate in Nepal.
The volunteers also visited the Platinum Fashion Malls and encouraged shoppers to contribute their share on behalf of the good cause.
ต้องตั้งใจแบบสู้ใหม่แล้ว
No one would have thought that such a calamity would occur in Nepal. We want to encourage quake survivors to stay
แข็ง
strong.
และทุกประเทศก็ไม่มีใครทิ้งเขานะคะ
To help students of 3Q MRC Junior understand earthquakes better, Tzu Chi volunteers designed an earthquake drill.
I feel scared. I cannot see my parents.
The volunteers also put on a clip showing the current situation in Nepal, helping the children realize the hardship quake survivors are facing. Children donate what they can and write down words of blessings to express their condolences and support.
Pray for Nepal, stay strong, Nepal.
I want to show my love for the Nepalese, so I asked a Tzu Chi sister if there's anything I can do to help. She told me that I can start by holding an event like this at the kindergarten.
Please donate your love to help quake victims in Nepal.
Early in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers in Saremban are here at the local market to canvass for donations on behalf of Nepal. Whether it is walking around the market or standing at specific locations, the volunteers hope to inspire people from all backgrounds to support the cause.
We want to encourage shoppers to donate their love, so we'll try our best to explain to them Tzu Chi's footsteps in Nepal.
Tzu Chi volunteers hope that this love from all corners of the world can settle restless hearts in Nepal. In Munich, Germany, Tzu Chi volunteers held a Buddha Day ceremony to pay their respect to the Buddha. The rare occasion was joined by members of the local Chinese community, local residents, and members of the Vietnamese Buddha Society. Furthermore, during the event, Vietnamese Buddha Society members also seized the chance to chant a sutra on behalf of Nepal and its citizens.
Members of the Vietnamese Youth Cultural Association livened up the event with dragon and lion dances, while the Vietnamese Buddha Society chanted a sutra on behalf of the health and safety of all.
所以他们特别呢要送一部平安经，所以祝福大家人人平安，然后也为尼泊尔的往生者祝福他们。
In spite of the small venue, the participants carried boundless good wishes for all. Many of the German attendees were also impressed with the air of solemnity in which the ceremony was carried out.
祝福吉祥。
It's very serene. It's good to be able to enjoy peace and harmony amidst the stress of life.
An overseas Chinese who has lived in Germany for 30 years felt as if she had returned home.
共香花。
Their brothers and sisters worked hard to organize this event. It is heartwarming to be here.
Another attendee was grateful to be able to participate in the auspicious ceremony.
It is such a rare opportunity to be able to attend a Buddha Day ceremony in Germany. I'm very grateful for the fact. I felt the love, and I think this love will spread to all corners of the world.
The volunteers also solicited donations for Nepal's quake victims. While some participants emptied their piggy banks, others donated their change, putting their love into action to help the needy in Nepal.
The Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter's financial support for impoverished students has helped many leave the cycle of poverty behind. Many of the students who have received Tzu Chi's assistance have graduated and begun to give back to society. In our next report, we meet Edison Lalimarmo, a former scholarship recipient who is now an English teacher.
Edison Lalimarmo is walking into Bagan Silang High School, not as a student, but as an English teacher.
What can you say about Africa? Whenever you hear the word Africa, what comes into your mind?
For Edison, being a teacher is not only a result of his own hard work, but also some outside assistance. Edison is a former Tzu Chi scholarship student. Losing his mother to a brain tumor, Edison's father single-handedly provided for Edison and his 5 siblings. Edison worked 3 part-time jobs in college until he received a scholarship from the Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter in 2009.
Titiwala for making us your worthy investments. At ngayon po bilang ako ay isang guro na, makakaasa po kayo na magiging ako po ay mas mabuting tao, mabuting guro, mabuting kapatid, mabuting anak.
At the end of his day, Edison visits his mother at her grave. At home, Edison still helps out his father to make ends meet. He also doesn't forget to help his brothers and sisters with their homework.
Sana magaya nila si Edison na nakatapos ng college, makapagtrabaho ng marangal din. Okay na sa akin yung ganun.
Edison has enrolled in night school to pursue a graduate degree in art, as he has not stopped dreaming.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand have been caring for an impoverished solitary senior nicknamed Grandma Jinghua, who lived in a temple's kitchen for more than 20 years. Grandma Jinghua found the warmth of family and Tzu Chi volunteers, who also inspire other villagers to look after the senior. After Grandma Jinghua passed away at the age of 82 last month, Tzu Chi volunteers took it upon themselves to hold a funeral service to bid their final farewells. Let's take a look.
After battling with illness, Grandma Jinghua passed away at the end of April. As she has no relatives, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a funeral service on her behalf.
Grandma's affinity with us has ended. Although we are parting with her today, we will meet again in the next lifetime.
Grandma Jinghua passed away after living alone in a temple's kitchen in Photoran district of Ratchaburi for more than 20 years. Once a scavenger for recyclables, she fell ill and became a Tzu Chi care recipient after losing her government subsidies.
Grandma Jinghua had a bad temper, but after we began visiting her, she started to smile more and soon became an adorable grandmother. Grandma Jinghua cannot look after herself, so I am glad that Tzu Chi has reached out to help her.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for Grandma Jinhua for years. So the villagers got to know Tzu Chi and began to look after her as well.
Grandma Jinhua found the warmth of family after Tzu Chi volunteers came into her life, and she will be remembered by all who knew her.
In Shizhi District, Avenue, Taipei City, Taiwan, 82-year-old Tzu Chi recycling volunteer Huangzhou Jingye has been dedicated to recycling for 30 years. For years, she carried recyclables with a shoulder pull until she developed back problems. Although she wears a back brace now, she is still doing her part to protect the planet. But first, we take a look at how 150 students from the Oriental Institute of Technology learned a valuable lesson on recycling at the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds.
These young students in their orange vests are headed to Tzu Chi's recycling center to learn about how they can help protect the environment.
We produce trash every day, so we must recycle to avoid wasting resources.
Protecting the environment is more than a slogan for these students, as they've come to sort out a pile of recyclables and garbage. The 150 young adults sorted out the recyclables in spite of the filth and smell, and their hands-on experience here will remain a valuable lifetime lesson. Turning to Shizhi District, this messy recycling point is filled with recyclables. Tzu Chi volunteers have come to clean up where elderly recycling volunteer Huangzhou Jingye keeps her recyclables.
I used a shoulder pull to carry recyclables for about 10 years. Then I started using a cart. I've been using a cart for about 20 years.
82-year-old Huangzhou Jingye has spent a third of her life doing recycling. Wearing a back brace now, she continues to protect the environment using her bench cart or cart and plastic chair.
I've worn out several carts. Brother Lee found me another one, so I tied a basket to it. I love to do recycling.
Doing recycling is Grandma Huangzhou's dream. While other volunteers worry about her health, they still support her as she continues with her mission of environmental protection.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show, where local female volunteers have been organizing free clinics twice a month on behalf of the homeless in Taoyuan. On the most recent clinic, the volunteers also held a Buddha Day ceremony to give the less fortunate a chance to pay their respect to the Buddha. Furthermore, the volunteers hope the solemn ceremony can give the homeless the strength to overcome challenges in their everyday life. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.